Here's a truth for you. You're alive today because a shrimp died 500 million years ago. That's not a metaphor, it's literal. Scientists say its extinction gave vertebrates a chance to survive. Without its death, there would be no fish, no dinosaurs, no humans, and no you watching this video. What's even more unsettling is how it died. The answer can be summed up in 4 words: it became too powerful. This creature was called Anomalocaris. It lived in the Cambrian oceans 520 million years ago. Back then, the land was barren, and the real battlefield was beneath the sea. Most ocean creatures were only the size of a fingernail. They had no eyes, no claws, and no weapons. They survived by feeding on organic debris in the water. The entire ocean was like a giant retirement home, quiet, peaceful, and uneventful. Then Anomalocaris arrived. Its size was like a wolf crashing into a gathering of earthworms. This wasn't hunting. It was a massacre from a completely different league. In 2020, paleontologists in South Australia unearthed a rare Anomalocaris fossil from the New Bay Shale. Its head and eye structures were exceptionally preserved. When high-resolution electron microscope scans revealed the results, the entire lab fell silent. Each eye contained more than 16,000 tightly packed hexagonal lenses, arranged in a hemispherical shape. Each eye had a field of view approaching 180 degrees, giving it nearly a full 360-degree view. Think about that. Today's top-tier cameras, with tens of millions of pixels, seem impressive enough. Yet 500 million years ago, a shrimp-like predator evolved. An optical system that still amazes engineers today. It could track moving targets in multiple directions at once, calculating their speed, distance, and escape routes in real time. Meanwhile, 90% of marine life back then couldn't even tell light from darkness. It could see everything, while nothing could see it. That wasn't hunting, it was a one-sided slaughter. And as terrifying as its eyes were, its real weapon was the pair of appendages extending from the front of its head, curved like sickles. They were lined with 14 sharp spines each. In 2023, scientists used supercomputers to simulate its hunting strike. The results were chilling. From fully open to fully closed, the entire grabbing motion took only 0.02 seconds. A single blink takes about 0.1 seconds. In other words, before you could blink once, it could have struck 5 times. Once captured, the prey was fed into its rotating circular mouth, made up of 30 to serrated tooth plates. It functioned like a biological meat grinder. The mechanism rotated inward, crushing anything caught inside, even armored trilobites. The toughest creatures of the era were nothing more than potato chips to it. One crunch and they shattered. 500 million years ago, nothing escaped its jaws alive. But what shocked paleontologists most wasn't how powerful it was the possibility that it hunted as a team. In 2021, during fossil excavations at the Kelly Biota in Guizhou, China, researchers discovered multiple Anomalocaris fossils aligned in the same direction. This suggests they may have cooperated in organized hunts. Just 5,000 years, Anomalocaris spent 30 million years turning the entire ocean into its hunting ground. But its impact on Earth went far beyond that. Before Anomalocaris appeared, when Anomalocaris arrived, it sent a message to every living creature. You think you're living. In reality, you just haven't been eaten yet. Fear became evolution's most powerful fuel. Trilobites began growing thicker armor. Soft-bodied creatures burrowed into the sediment. Some species evolved toxins. Others developed spines. More importantly, some organisms evolved, for the first time in history, true eyes. Because only by seeing danger first could they hope to escape. Within just a few million years, marine biodiversity, the concept of predators, barely existed in the oceans. Life drifted along at a leisurely pace. Exploded. Paleontologists call this period the Cambrian Explosion. But simply put, one shrimp-like predator forced life across the planet into an evolutionary arms race. And then it vanished. No predators, no asteroid, no volcanic catastrophe, no dramatic finale. In the fossil record, Anomalocaris simply disappeared, as if someone had pressed delete. The first clue lies within the animal itself. In 2019, researchers analyzed several Anomalocaris specimens from the Changjiang fossil beds in Yunnan, China. They discovered a disturbing detail. Some fossils bore wounds, and the marks matched the shape of Anomalocaris' own teeth. The thing harming Anomalocaris wasn't a stronger predator, it was itself. When food was abundant, they coexisted peacefully. But when food became scarce, Adult Anomalocaris would ruthlessly hunt younger individuals, including their own offspring. The most powerful apex predator in Earth's history was slowly consumed from within by the cruelty hardwired into its own genes. The second fatal blow came from the outside. Around 450 million years ago, the Ordovician Ice Age struck. Ocean temperatures plunged, and vast shallow seas froze over. Oxygen levels dropped, and visibility grew worse and worse. At the same time, a new generation of predators emerged. They were smaller, more efficient, and capable of slipping into narrow reef crevices. They could even hunt cooperatively. Meanwhile, the elite system that made Anomalocaris perfect for clear, open seas began to fail completely. Its super eyes, with over 16,000 lenses, could barely see through the murky water. It was like smearing mud across the world's most expensive camera lens. Its massive body, over a meter long, required huge amounts of prey just to stay alive, but its prey had retreated into cracks that it simply couldn't reach. Those legendary sickle-like appendages were nearly useless. Inside tight reef structures, scientists also discovered that its larvae were extremely sensitive to water temperature and quality. Climate change caused their hatching success rate to crash from around 70% to less than 15%. Adult Anomalocaris struggled to keep hunting, but the next generation could no longer survive. The population's lifeblood could no longer renew itself. And so the most powerful creature of its age, trapped between an environment it couldn't adapt to and offspring it could no longer produce. That strategy allowed them to survive from the Cambrian all the way to today. They outlived the dinosaurs, survived the ice ages, and eventually made it onto your dinner table. Meanwhile, those ultimate predators that once ruled the very top of the food chain, Dunkleosteus, Megalodon, and Tyrannosaurus rex, have all become fossils in museums. Whenever I talk about Anomalocaris, I think about one thing. Today, we live in an age that strongly rewards specialization. People say you should become an irreplaceable expert in your field and put all your resources into the path you're best at. There's nothing wrong with that. Focus is valuable, but what Anomalocaris teaches us is that when you sacrifice all flexibility and backup options in pursuit of perfection, you're walking a path it already walked. After 30 million years of dominance, it left behind only a silent extinction. Deep within the layers of this planet, it carved a message into history. Perfection is the beginning of extinction. Would you rather be a perfect sword or water that can keep flowing?